Hi, I'm Ashes to Ashley, and welcome to my channel where today we're checking out a game that I've had so many of my friends recommend to me to play, but I've never played it, so I thought it'd be a fun way to kick off this, YouTube channel. But we're playing through the Stanley Parable. And for as far as I know with this game, you basically I think just make decisions and it's really narration driven. So if there's a lot of talking, I'll try my best not to talk over it. And I know I'm like 10 years late to this game, but hope y'all enjoy anyways. So let's go check out the gameplay, I guess.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
This is literally
and although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
All right.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Maybe they're just bad at jokes and they think they're a lot funnier than they really are. No one wants to send them emails. They're mitigating the amount of conversation they have to have with Stanley. Okay, Stanley, we're walking around. What's this coffee cup say? I hate Mondays. I thought it said the good old days, and I was like, what good old days? Before you realize no one sent you work emails. Okay. Let's go check out stuff. No 420? Is that where we have to go, is find 420?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Everyone hates Mondays here, am I right?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Did they lock their computer screen? Looks like they kind of did. That'd be responsible. Security 101 at the office. Remember to lock your screen when you get up. There you go. Still no people. Are their emails open?
I love to hack.
That's how you get hacked. What if someone sent out an email? Should I send out an email to the boss saying something sassy? Okay. Is this a I Hate Monday one too? What's it say? Be my Valentine. Very fun, very fun. Okay. I love how zoomy I am too when I walk. Okay. So everything's empty. That's a little scary.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
You know, I'm gonna go the door less opened. Wait, did I just fall for a trap because I'm following what the narrator says? And if I'm supposed to choose my own fate, am I supposed to pick the opposite of what they say? Oh man, I'm playing right into it, aren't I? Okay.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
The bosses? I mean, that feels like a logical conclusion to make, right? Do I have to be rebellious? I don't know how I would rebel. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. This game is really hitting the vibes that I'm feeling right now with just my normal day-to-day job. I'm just so burnt out with office job kind of things. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Thank you. Number of slides on the slide. That's pretty great. This is really hitting a vibe, I tell you. Okay, so I think the narrator said
Coming
it
to
was
a staircase, Stanley
upstairs.
walked upstairs to his boss's
What if
office.
I go downstairs? Oh. That's trippy. I'm going upstairs, dude. How do I get in
But
this car?
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that.
That's what
and in
I'm
such a
scared of.
competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His
That's
boss
really
would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Oh, man.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Oh
Were they
my
simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he
believe
came
this?
to the conclusion that
Pre-inflation.
had been on the tip of his tongue. He
That'd be like
just
$3
hadn't found
now.
the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley
Everything's
felt
closing
to have
my-
finally
This is
found
really
an
creepy.
answer, an explanation.
Okay.
His co-workers weren't actually gone.
Oh my God,
He
we have
wasn't
been in
going
this
to lose
room.
his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Okay.
He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to
Okay.
my boring real-life job
This
pushing
didn't get really
buttons.
creepy,
I
it's
may as
fine.
well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Ooh,
it was
neat.
so
Whoa.
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up.
Okay.
How was he remaining so
That was a weird
lucid?
time to look back at the
And
screen
then
after
perhaps
sneezing.
the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head
Yeah.
dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now
People
the
just
voice was
normally have
describing
voices?
itself being considered by Stanley,
Whoa,
who found it
coffee cup
particularly strange.
on the ground now.
I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself,
be a Just
believing
Leave
that
In There
if he's
poster with a
asleep, he
cat.
doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's
Is
ever
there
been in his
another
life.
door?
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all,
I just
he
am
knew
going
for
through a
certain,
loop.
beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars
Am I
just a
missing
moment ago?
something? Do I
How
just
else
go
would the
up,
voice explain
like,
all that?
here?
This voice
Hit
was a
jump or
part of
interact?
himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control.
What
that
is
this was a
happening?
dream. So
Do I
he
just
closed his
interact with
eyes
something?
gently,
Or do I
and
have
he
to wait for
invited
the
himself
narrator?
to wake up.
Oh,
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his
did I
skin,
do something wrong?
the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Is
I'm
happening?
through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
I don't think
My
that's
life
happening,
is
Stanley.
normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Yeah, we're totally cool right now, dude. Sweet. Yeah.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Whoa. What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Did I kill Stanley?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life.
Dealing with this trauma.
She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Why does that feel so accurate? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when you're working at like certain jobs, it's like, if I were to die tomorrow, would anyone care? And that's kind of what this is capturing. And I'm so sorry, Stanley. I did not mean to get you killed. I thought I was supposed to be like, let's break the rules.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Sorry,
Perhaps
Stanley.
he had simply missed a memo.
Set you off track this time. Was that open before? I feel like all tripped out now.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, so we're following the rule that time. Make sure that I do it correctly so I don't get Stanley killed again. Are the
Yet
slides
there
there?
was not a single person here either.
Apocalypse
Feeling a
to
wave of
unbelievably
disbelief,
amazing
Stanley
work
decided
all
to
day.
go up to his
Every day.
boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Sorry, that's like... that's so accurate. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see if I goofed up again.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. It's weird that we're taking the fire escape to the boss's office. And what is going on with this place? Why does it feel like we went into like an old like 1800s like mansion or something like that? Where's the secretary desk person? Admin assistant. That's what I was looking. Executive assistant. Okay. We're supposed to... What kind of paycheck and what company is this where you get like a library for your office? Ooh, piano.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, yeah, totally casual. Never noticed this before. Okay, that's fine. I'm sure this is great. The darkness feels like there's a hidden door or something I could go through. Okay. Part of me wants to rebel again, but last time Stanley died. I know I shouldn't be like too concerned about, a little NPC here, but
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Yeah.
This question would not go unanswered for long.
Okay. So, just casual, electricity zapping. It's fine. We're safe.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, that makes sense, actually. This is all lining up now. Capitalism, am I right? Okay. Cool. Do I just start over and go? Is this, going back into the system? System reboot here?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
The
horrible
telly?
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
This is a weird lucid dream. Okay, it's no sign of coworkers yet. Security cam. Am I gonna become like the new Watcher or something? Whatever controls the mind control.
Now the monitors jumped to life,
Whoa.
their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
Whoa.
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
Ooh,
nothing.
what's this one? There's two that are like not showing up the way they need to. Employee 528. And someone was fired. 601. That's not uncomfortable. Okay, well, let's keep going. I feel like 528 should be something I try to remember. Press the button.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time?
104.
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Probably. Yeah.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't
Is it
it?
reset?
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I mean, probably, right?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
What's
And as
this?
the cold reality
Push
of his
buttons.
past began to sink in,
I thought I was
Stanley
able to just
decided that
smash
this
buttons.
machinery would never
I don't even know
again
what they
exert
do.
its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
How do you do that, though? So the store's closed. Sorry, I'm like looking around for like clues or any sort of thing. And you can't interact with these buttons, it looks like. This one's a big shiny button. What's that do? I'm just going in and pushing buttons that I don't know what they do. Mind control, idle, awaiting input. That's not trippy. It's fine. We're safe.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
But if I said on? On.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yeah? Huh?
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
Okay.
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system.
I made a huge, tiny mistake.
In
Oh,
the
good.
event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode,
Go down with
eliminating
the
the
mind
entire
control machine.
complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes.
Oh,
Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Yeah.
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a
Not gonna
shame we
run.
have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off.
Nope,
But what
it's a trick.
precious moments each one of them
Right?
is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means.
I'm calling them out on their
barely know
bluff right
where
now.
to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Okay.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp.
You know, at least you don't
I
have
to
to
say
go to
this,
work
though,
the next day,
this version
honestly.
of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much.
Me too.
You know
I
what?
think you're
To
lying
hell
to me.
with it.
not
I'm going
gonna
to
blow
put
up.
some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley.
A whole
Time
other
doesn't
minute?
grow on trees.
I'm not going nowhere,
Oh,
man.
dear me. What's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button,
I'm not
screen
running.
to screen,
I'm just
clicking
chilling.
on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button.
This
or
makes me
door.
think of
everything,
when
anything,
I
something
was,
here
like,
will save me.
8 or so,
Why would you
and
think
my
that,
sister was
Stanley?
6.
That this video game
She
can
didn't
be
know how to use the
beaten?
microwave,
One sold?
so I convinced her
Do
that
you
it was
have
a bomb,
any idea what your purpose in
and
this
that she had
place
set
is?
the 1 minute automatic timer for us to have 1 minute to get out of the house.
You're in for quite a disappointment.
She started
But
running
here's a
for the
spoiler
door
for
and
you.
stopped when I fell
That
on the
timer
ground
isn't a
laughing.
catalyst to keep
But
the action moving along.
that's kind of what
It's
the
just
vibes are
seconds
here,
ticking
right?
away to
Can't
your
trick me.
death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble.
Because it feels like a trick. This whole
This
thing's
is not
been
a
like
challenge. It's a
manipulation.
tragedy. You
Be
wanted to
afraid.
control
I'm going to
this
say
world,
something
that's
wild,
fine.
and
But
you
I'm
have to
going
do what I
destroy
say.
it
And it was like
first,
trying to
so
train you to like, hey,
can't.
you have to listen.
Take
But
a
I
look at
feel
the
like
clock,
here,
Stanley.
it's like,
That's 30 seconds you have left
why
to
would they
struggle.
have like a whole
30
bomb,
seconds
you know?
until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you
Knock,
being
knock,
blown
over the
to
lights.
pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life? Or will you let it go peacefully?
right,
Another
prepared.
choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me. All a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing
It's
at every
shaking
second of
so
your inevitable
much.
life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Oh, did it actually blow up? Okay. I thought it was a bluff. I didn't even try running. Huh. I hope you had fun with part 1. This has been a really fun game, so I'm excited to jump into part 2. So I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like this if you enjoyed my weirdness. I don't know. Anyway, see you in the next one.